Hi there. My name is Jennifer Joslin. I'm the director of the Compass Center.
Hi, I'm Joe Morris. I am an academic advisor who works in the Compass Center.
We're excited today to talk with you about You Can Do It, preparing for your final exams.
Absolutely.
Our scope for today is to advance the slides successfully and talk about all the different steps of being ready for taking your finals. That's going to include how you study, using your study time effectively, and doing your very best during your exam. We're also going to talk a little bit about self-care and being good to yourself during a challenging period of the semester.
Yeah. So you may want to just take a moment to acknowledge how you're feeling about finals. Do you feel confident? Do you feel terrified about them? Are you nervous? All of those things are very very common for students to experience. So don't feel that other people are very prepared and you're the one that doesn't feel so prepared. It's important to acknowledge that everyone feels pretty similarly when it comes to finals, and to just quiet that self-talk a little bit that you're not going to be prepared or you're not going to do well. You absolutely are, especially if you use these tips we're going to share with you.
Oh, nice. All right. We're really blessed to have one of the tutors on campus talk to us about how they're preparing for finals and the things that they do. Today in this video, you'll hear tips from students and from faculty and tips from the Compass Center. And we'll start here with tips from Lawson Spence, our math tutor.
Hello everybody, Lawson here. I just wanted to help you guys out with finals, give you one of my best tips. I'm the math tutor here at Drury. So the best tip that I can tell you for finals this year in math classes specifically is to practice, practice, practice. All of these finals are typically cumulative of everything that you have learned so far this semester. So I would recommend going back to previous tests you've taken, looking at the example problems, maybe changing the numbers if you still remember how to do them, and then just going through them again and getting more and more practice, because the more repetitions that you have doing these problems, the better you're going to be at doing them when it comes time to test. And the final cumulative test is only going to have problems that you've seen on these tests before and maybe some new material from the previous homeworks that you've done. So like I said, more practice that you can get in, the better. Math is really all about just practicing these problems, really thinking through them. So keep practicing and you will do great on your finals this year. And come to see me too if you need to.
So let's talk a little bit about some tips that the faculty shared with us. Given that they are the ones providing the exams, they probably know how best to prepare for them. So their number one tip was start early. Make sure that you start studying or completing projects for your final exam as quickly as you possibly can, so that you can maximize the time. And make sure that you ask right away if you have any questions or encounter any issues in getting started on those exams. Read the instructions, whether it's for the final exam itself that you're sitting down and working with, or if you're doing some sort of end of the semester project as your exam. Make sure that you know what's expected of you, that how you're going to be graded, those types of questions. And again, ask an instructor if you need some clarification on those things. One tip for studying for an exam is to think about the larger themes for the class. What are the things that you came into the class to study? And how did all the individual things that you've learned throughout the semester relate to that one theme? If you can make connections between those things, those make connections in your brain physically to connect all that information together. And it's easier to recall that information on exams later.
Want to add some of the logistical issues to be thinking ahead. Talk to supervisors, talk to family members, make sure your schedule is free. If there is an opportunity during the day or during the evening, whenever you'll be taking your finals, to be able to clear your schedule with work and other responsibilities that can be rescheduled, faculty certainly encourage you to do so. We also want to focus on distractions while you're taking the exam, certainly in the last few weeks while you're preparing to do your very best. Remember that there are ways to physically, of course, put other devices aside and have them kind of locked away. Also, don't forget that there are tools now that can help you limit distractions that can be put on your desktop or part of other devices. And these distractions that can be cut out and cut away really will help you with focus. So you could practice with them now while you're studying and doing your preparation for finals, and then you'll be ready to go and really used to that learning environment when it's time to actually take your finals. Also want, again, to come back to that positive self-talk. Joe referred to it just a little bit ago when we were talking about how are you feeling? And how can you move positively into these last few weeks and definitely into the final exam experience? We know that self-talk can be a staircase for good or a spiral for bad. So be sure to stay positive, take positive steps, practice now while you're preparing for finals. That way, when you're about to start or you are in the middle of a final and it might start to feel a little anxious, maybe the first question isn't as clear as you would wish it to be. The self-talk, some of the other strategies we're going to talk about here in a minute, these are things to bring to mind and to get yourself kind of settled back down and to move on to question 2 or move on to question 3 or move right through that thesis and come back to that. You've got it. You can do it. You are the expert in your understanding. These are all things we want to just be sure is part of your finals experience.
Absolutely. One method that the faculty told us was really helpful is if you can teach others the information that you know. If you can explain a concept to someone enough that they can understand it, that means you know it pretty well. So take an opportunity if you're studying with other folks in the class as a study group, that you're teaching each other those concepts that you've talked about over the semester. If you have a family member or a friend who's not in the class that you can kind of teach that concept to and they understand it, then that's a good measure that you understand it quite well yourself. Science shows that studying over short periods of time, over a longer period of time, than just cramming 8 to 10 hours before an exam is far more effective. And that's because you're taking those little bits of information that you're learning, and then when you sleep or you spend some time away from that material, your brain processes that information and stores it away in a place that you can recall it from later. So that's why it's far more beneficial to study a little bit at a time over a longer period of time. And we've talked about this a couple times already. We're going to continue to harp on it. Self-care matters. Keeping your routine going, if those are working well for you, making sure that there aren't any disruptions to that is important. Making sure you're getting enough sleep, that you're caring for yourself, that you're telling yourself good things. Don't talk to yourself the way you would not talk to others in your life. Get some movement and other routines going. And make sure you're staying connected to family and friends who are giving you that support that you need to be successful. Whether that's family, friends, other folks that really care for you. Make sure that you're surrounding yourself with them during this time.
Well, The staff of the Compass Center combined probably have over 70 years of experience working with students. And so we asked Compass Center staff their top tips. There are a few here on the screen, but we also want to let you know that we'll put a link in the comments to see our whole handout of helpful tips for finals. Here, we want to mention some strategies and reinforce some strategies. Prioritizing what you're working on means paying attention to final percentages of the work in your, and you'll find that information on your syllabus. What is each assignment in your class is due and where the final weighs in proportion to those other assignments. Here, you also want to pay a lot of attention to when your exams fall in the week and pay attention to days when you have more than one exams. So surprisingly, there's actually a lot of big picture questions about taking finals in terms of being prepared for the week and also kind of what the demands are going to look like every single day during the finals experience or as you're working on your final papers the last 2 weeks of class. And you may also want to consider classes that are for your major or classes that are prerequisites, which mean you can't go forward. And so those are also subjects to pay close attention to. Joe and I have both mentioned strategies that are about active learning. So that idea, and so much of studying is a science actually. And here, when we come down to active learning, again, we're talking about memory, recall, association, and connections, all the way your brain stores, retrieves, and allows you to demonstrate your learning. So be sure to ask yourself materials as you study. This is part, again, of making internal and external connections to what you're reading. It will help you stay focused page after page of your reading so that you are really ready to recall information and to have it sit in its context. And the more that you can, as part of this, make connections between the kind of abstract concepts and theories that you're learning with how this is played out in real life. And it's everything from the study of economics and what does that mean in everyday life to the science of science. So as you're learning, make connections. Making connections means you're engaged in your reading. Being engaged in your reading, again, really cements that information and allows you to recall more details more accurately. Believe us, the science is behind us on this.
Mhm.
Part of this is also mix up your studying. So we do not, and science does not recommend that you immerse yourself in one subject for hours and hours at a time, for days and days at a time. It is best for your brain and elasticity and memory and recall, again, that you study several subjects over a long period for a short time, or for a short time over a long period, so that you have a chance to, again, make specific connections to that topic and that you engage with your materials in a healthy pattern so that, again, that part of save and recall and retrieving is an important piece of this. We do know that several Drury Go students are part of watching this video, and we just want to have a few specific tips for them. Just a reminder that Drury Go students do have a separate tutor resource module on Moodle. You're already pre-registered for that, so don't forget that resource module is available to you. You'll also see Smart Thinking, which is an online tutoring tool that is there for you. For all students, we want to make sure that you have the technology tools you need and that your connection to computers and Wi-Fi is really solid during this time period. If you have any hesitations about when you'll be taking exams online and you have hesitations about your Wi-Fi, we encourage you to take advantage of the Drury Go campuses to do exams on campus. for all students. Be sure to check deadlines as you come into finals. Obviously, there are final paper deadlines. There might be deadlines around submitting final rough drafts or outlines and other things you need to do before you're ready for those final experiences. So be sure to double check syllabi during this time period. And we encourage you to get help early and often as possible. Instructors are the first line of questions and answers and conversation, whether it's a problem set, a concept, a theory, a technique. This is a good time to follow up with your instructors. And also any tutoring resources, either on the main campus or through that smart thinking tool on the tutoring resources module on Moodle for you.
Luke, one of our biology tutors here at Drury, has some recommendations on managing your time well to make sure that you stay happy and healthy during finals. So we're gonna hear a word from Luke.
Hey guys, it's Luke Uginka. I'm one of the biology tutors, and I know with finals coming up, times can get a little stressful or difficult. And one of the strategies I like to utilize to mitigate some of that stress is really being intentional and efficient with my time. If you can put away your phone, put away the distractions, and really study hard when you are studying, then you can have more time to relax and decompress when you're not studying, thus reinforcing your studying, having a great healthy cycle, being happier and more positive and more confident going into your finals, and hopefully performing better on the exams. Good luck at finals week, study hard, and I hope this helps.
And then, of course, you know, we've said this before, we're going to keep reiterating it because it's so important. Make sure you're being kind to yourself, telling yourself messages that you would tell your friends or family members or others you care about. Don't talk to yourself in a way that you wouldn't talk to them. So, and making sure that you're practicing those self-care things, whether it's physically, emotionally, spiritually, that keep you on track and keep you grounded. Just again, another call to care for yourself. We also have a video that we will provide a link for in the video description for this video. But it's a technique called box breathing, a method of inhaling over a period of counts, holding that breath in, exhaling slowly, and then leaving that breath out of your lungs for just a second, and then repeating this process over and over. It helps reset your central nervous system and other systems in your body. It helps you relax, helps you focus, and helps you minimize anxiety that occurs sometimes during periods of stress or other times where you're really overwhelmed. So we encourage you to try this method. Dr. Joslin and I both have tried it before, and it works quite well for us. So we highly recommend it.
Well, we hope that you have a new framework, new ideas for how to successfully manage these last few weeks of the semester and your finals week. Our goal for you would be that there is at least one takeaway, one tip, one strategy through the video or through some of the links that we're going to put in the comments. Our goal is one takeaway that helps you have a terrific finals period. All right, we have a second goal. And that second goal is also that you read through and there's one tip or strategy that you could implement in the new year when you come back to school or even in your workplace, because the attention to having a successful semester doesn't just happen in the last few weeks. It's a 16-week experience, and any strategy that you can bring forward into the new year, we hope will be a helpful one for you. We're excited that you're here. We hope to hear good stories about how your finals went, and we appreciate you watching. Take care. Have a great end of the semester.
Best of luck.